What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the Cloud Slayer channel. I hope you guys are doing well. Sorry about that. I almost said podcast for some weird reason. But another ramble Monday morning for me. It might be at Monday afternoon or later for whoever's watching this. It's going to be a little bit different. Usually I try to talk about like real world stuff that's happening maybe around me, maybe around anybody that's listening, or just talk shit about it, right? And share kind of like experiences and stuff like that, because everybody has experience with it. Maybe not everybody, but I'm guessing most people in the world, they do. You know what I mean? So it's very relatable. But I want to talk. This one's going to be more so about like making my switch over from video game consoles to the video game PCs and stuff like that, or gaming PCs and gaming on there, and what were some of the differences, and what are like some pros and cons, or or what you're looking for in like price range and stuff like that. And we're going to go through like let's see here, we're going to go through building it as opposed to buying pre-builts. So I want to say stuff like that too. So first and foremost, I grew up my whole life playing video games, the NES and regular Super Nintendo, the original one. My parents had that, and playing like Super Mario and stuff like that. I know we had an Atari too, but it was one of those cheaper ones that they released later on, like not like the originals, So I don't even know if it was like the exact same games or whatever, but it was like Dig Dug and stuff like that, which were pretty cool. Asteroids, all that stuff, very fun games. I know they were in arcades when I was growing up, but I started from there, and we almost had every single console except for like Sega Genesis. We had like the Dreamcast and Nintendo GameCube and stuff like that, and all very great consoles. Wii. I don't think I really had like a Wii U or anything like. I don't know what the heck the difference is, but as I became an adult, kind of stopped staying up with it. But for the most part, still had consoles, right? So there's the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, and we're at 5 now, and then Xbox all the way up till now, Xbox Series X and S. So those are, graphically they're the best. They're the greatest of any console that's ever been released, especially from those brands, right? Microsoft and Sony. And there's a lot of talk that people are gonna bring in more. Apple's gonna make more investments, or these other companies that do these things. But I think they're more staying towards like cell phone stuff. So that's pretty cool, and that's probably where the money's at, and you get more people. So when they make more advances, because even if they like require like controllers, a gamepad or something like that, you can connect your controller from your Xbox onto your phone now. So you play games like Call of Duty Mobile or something on your phone if you got a good enough phone. But regardless, we're talking about the Switch. Sorry about that, guys. So switching over, and I didn't know where the heck to start. My fiance, she helped me through the process. My buddy Shane, he was really good. He helped me put the thing together the first time, because I didn't know almost anything. And my fiance like helped set me up to look at places and compare prices for like certain parts and components to build the gaming computer. So what I ended up doing was I ended up building it from scratch. It's not as complicated as some people might think, but it's just buying the parts and essentially making sure that they fit together, like a CPU to your MOBO or a motherboard. If you want to look it up, MOBO is just shorter word for motherboard. And then you got to get RAM, you got to get a power supply unit, you got to get your graphics processing unit. The CPU is a computer processing unit. That's what that means. And you got to get your storage. You got to get an OS, which is an operating system, like Windows 10 or Windows 11. You know how when you're a kid, if you don't know shit about computers, like I didn't really know, Windows, like Windows XP and stuff like that, that's an operating system. So If you're younger, chances are you've heard about a lot of these operating systems or something, or you are pretty well versed with computers, but you might not necessarily be have ever made like a gaming computer or anything of that nature. So the best thing is always is go out there and research those parts. I check out a site like PCPartPicker.com. They usually have some of the best prices listed on their site, and they'll tell you which site they're at, and they're pretty well spoken for. Their sites that are pretty well trusted. They'll send you new components if they're busted, if they don't work, if they don't fit, or if they're like dead on arrival. So they might not work properly when you first get them. Sometimes, when these parts are coming from these companies, it could be coming from overseas, or it could come in the U.S. But their thing is, as long as it turns on the first time, or stuff like that, or it worked at the factory, and then it might not work when it gets to you. There's possibilities, or somebody just fucked up that time. Who knows? But they're not like they have to like be in a situation where it never fails. There's a possibility that you got a bad component, and if you were like me and you didn't know anything about computers, you won't know where to start to start to troubleshoot and stuff like that. But it takes a lot. It takes a lot of looking into and stuff like that. But let's go on. But to me, the graphics, it's way more advanced. But you can spend a lot more money on a graphics processing unit than you can even on a console. It's pretty crazy. Some of those go up to $1,000+ for just a graphics processing unit, and that's only the processed graphics, right? that's not your RAM, your motherboard, or any of that stuff. So it can get very pricey, but you also can get used parts. People probably selling them all the time for way more of a discounted price. You check like eBay and stuff like that. But I guess the main part is going to PC Part Picker, building it, and making sure that like those parts are compatible, and you can get like names there, and then you can do manual searches. You might be able to find it cheaper, or you can find like a used parts dealer or somebody local, or you can get some half-ass built PC locally for very cheap, dirt cheap, possibly. I see them all the time on like Facebook and stuff like that. I don't really trust people sending it through the mail and stuff like that. But if you get like one of those pre-builts, like a Skyforge or something like that, they'll come pre-assembled, so you don't even have to worry about that, like grounding yourself out. Because if you don't ground yourself out and you handle your motherboard, you could fry it. Because all it is a printed circuit board, and it could be it's really susceptible to shock. Like you just dragging your feet and touching it can burn it out, or cause damage to it that your naked eye cannot see, and stuff like that. So if anybody's ever worked with computer components, they know these things, or if they worked on a factory that involves soldering printed circuit boards or anything like that, they would, I guess they would understand a little bit more than somebody that has not. So when I first went into this, I didn't have much of an idea of what any of that stuff meant, and its potential dangers that could burn a hole in your pocket, So it's as simple as just grabbing a piece of metal, and you have to stay in contact with that, because that keeps grounded out. So it runs like any kind of like extra static that your body might be carrying from walking, rubbing your hair or anything like that, any static electricity and stuff like that, any charge. So it'll drain that charge from you. A lot of times, if you get like a metal case, you could just be touching your metal case, so you might be good on that. But if you shuffle your feet because your significant other, or if you're young enough, your parent calls you, you're running down the carpet with your socks, just go see what they need help with or whatever, and you run back, you're all charged up, and you first thing you do is touch that motherboard and you fry it, So it could suck. You might be waiting for a couple weeks for a replacement or something. You never know. They might have ran out of that part because after like COVID-19 first started, oh man, it was hard to get a lot of things for a computer. And the prices kind of skyrocketed, which kind of sucked because at this time it costs more for pre-builts, for people to order pre-builts and stuff like that, as opposed to building it themselves. So it was way cheaper. Like when I first started building my computer, had to be 7-8 years ago, so it's not that long ago, but it was relatively cheap, as opposed, because they only have like I buy power, stuff like that from like Walmart. Even like those weren't even cheap to buy, but like some of the components are kind of crappy. Like they gotta make their money somehow by putting in crappier cooling systems, heat sinks and stuff like that. So the heat sink pulls the heat from the CPU and tries to regulate the temperature of that thing so it doesn't overheat and fry the system, because that can fry the system too. So if you get crappy heat sink, chances are your CPU's at a greater chance of being fried, and then in turn, or heating up, and then in turn frying your motherboard. So I like to build I wanted to build my own just because I wanted to make sure proper amount of your thermal paste was there, and a proper heat sink was on there, because I heard bad things about that. But they've come a long ways now, and they have like liquid cooling and stuff like that. So even like pre-builts nowadays, they're way better than they used to be. But it's maybe even on par with how much it costs to actually build it yourself, and sometimes even less with with some pretty good and decent GPUs out there, like a 3060 Ti or something like that, which is it's relatively good, especially if you want to like be streaming or something like that. But you want to just make sure your power supply unit's able to handle that stuff. If you're buying one of those, you get like a 600 watt, you should be fine, right? 600 to 700. You can run like dual screens, triple screens if you're freaking racing, which is awesome. Which, one of the perks of having a PC is a lot of those console games are starting to come out on PC, so that's always a bonus too, and stuff like that. Sorry, I'm rambling about that shit. I got caught up thinking about that stuff because some of those experiences, they suck, they suck to go through, and it frustrates people. And that's one of the biggest things of probably, for me, this is a con here, is the switch over. It's kind of sucked because I wasn't used to the mouse and keyboard. At school, I didn't take the time to play with the keyboard and the mouse as much, and I should have, right? All I wanted to do was run outside, play, do recess, and go outside, do physical activities and stuff like that. Because I was always a outside kid, But I didn't know there was really cool ass video games with it, and at that time there really wasn't. So except for like Oregon Trail maybe. But regardless, getting off again. But it took me a long time after I built my PC to, get comfortable using a mouse and keyboard. One, because I didn't want to dedicate the time to do it, and two is because I was frustrated that I wasn't as good at like some of those shooter games as I was on a controller, because I spent hundreds of maybe thousands of hours, easily on a controller playing like Call of Duty or Madden, NBA 2K, all these types of games growing up. There's many more, many more games. There's so many out there, and there's so many that I had growing up, beat them, never finished, or just got my butt kicked and I couldn't finish some of them, like Dark Souls and stuff like that, which I just didn't take the time to finish it, So I'm sure if I dedicated more time to it, I'd do it. So it's just a matter of getting frustrated and stuff like that. But anyways, I overcame it by playing like modern Call of Duty Zombies and like Black Desert and stuff like that. So it's just, like I said, taking the time to learn your PC and stuff like that. I'm sure if you're newer to the consoles, you feel the same way. But we're gonna go into a little bit into like the prices. Like you can get one for relatively cheap if you look for it. You know, you go out of your way to find somebody selling one for really cheap. Maybe they're moving and need money fast or something like that, or it's half built and they don't know where else to go or anything like that, so they just give it away. Or they got the wrong parts and they get frustrated, and then you just take it, sell the parts you don't need, and look up and find out which parts actually go with it, and build it the way you want to, investing as much money or as little money as you want to. So they got PCs that are like $30,000. So you can build some pretty insane shit out there nowadays, but you don't need to spend that much money. You can get a good computer, $700, you know, $600 maybe if you're lucky, maybe less, you know, if you're real lucky, and dedicate your time to figure out and find cheaper stuff for cheap. So it's not going to be easy. It's going to be a little bit of research, and you know, it's actually, that process is really fun, learning new things about those components or learning the components themselves and stuff like that. So, and upgrading them. So when you figure out, like, you put it together, you're like, dude, that's super easy. You just take it apart just for the hell of it, put it back together, you know, stuff like that. Make it look nice. Add zip ties or, you know, whatever. Some people don't do that at first. They just have the wires hanging out, you know, but there ain't no shame. You just, I don't know, you know, I'm not them. So, and they're not me. So I'm not going to throw hate about it. But I would say, go in there. There's like the pros. They have way better graphics. You get access to some of the console games at a later date, which is fine for me. I don't really give a crap. I also have consoles still, but I just don't want to pay extra $10 more for a game that's going to come out to the PC, you know, a little bit later. I don't mind that. And you can go like third-party sites to buy like a CD key, like cdkeys.com, G2A. There's a bunch of websites out there. They sell game keys for really cheap. When they're on sale at like Steam or something, they might be even cheaper as a CD key. So you can browse around, you can do whatever. Some more pros to that. There's also, you can stream, you can do schoolwork, you can make fucking videos, you can do whatever. You can stream on a console too, but it's not as good. You play music. Heck, my son, when I play games, I turn on another screen and we'll watch like shows together and stuff while I have the game on the other one. Like I'll play like an MMO and play that. But you can stop and then watching. It's like, whoa, what's going on? You know, talking with your kid if you want to, especially if you want to moderate like what they're watching. So you're right there, and they're not getting into something that you don't necessarily agree with, but you can also talk to them about. You know, like we found this really cool Minecraft channel, but like they're going around doing silly things. They're teaching them how to craft things within the game, and you know, there's little counting in there, and you know, the people don't swear, and they're doing a great job. You know, like I subscribe to them. I'll put that description down below if anybody wants to check them out, I guess. But it's they have some funny stuff. They have different scenarios that they have, and different situations that happen to the characters in their Minecraft world, which is awesome. You know, it teaches them how to do stuff, look for certain materials, gather them, and just crafting them, I guess. So, you know, it can be turned into a real world thing when they get a little bit older. It could also hurt them if all they're doing is playing fucking video games, right? Because in a way, that matching is like the matching card stuff, you know, like, oh, memory, I gotta look for this, you know, or it's right here in the specific spot. So, but the couple more cons would be, I would say, you know, like there's stuff where you got to download the drivers for your GPU and stuff like that. At first, I couldn't get used to it, and I just didn't because I didn't know. Because you gotta go in there manually, download them yourself, and I just didn't know, and I gave up. I built the thing, I kind of gave up, and I'm glad I had people that was able to help me through that time, and get not only gave me advice but helped me do a lot of these things. And whenever somebody asks me for help, I always gladly help them the best that I can, and I do the best I can explain. You know how shitty I explain stuff. I'm all over the place. I'm rambling, and it gets them confused and stuff like that. I'm one of those guys that it's easier for me to show than it is for me to tell you about it, and stuff like that, because I'll get you thinking about some goofy shit that you don't really necessarily need to think about. It's like some forecasting down the road type shit, and I'm terrible at it. I'm working on it, but I'm terrible at it at the same time. But this is in no way, shape, or form trying to tell you that you need to get a PC or anything like that. If you're happy with the console, stay on the consoles. I love the consoles too, and stuff like that. But PC, I personally care for it a little bit more. I like it a lot more. So, and you get to play games at higher frame rates. You get to play games with better quality graphics. You get to stream off of it. You get to do whatever the hell you want on a second screen or a third screen. There's just so much more out there. You can get modded maps. You can mod your video games, like certain video games. There's Call of Duty Black Ops 3 Zombies. Probably one of the greatest zombies out there. Mostly because of the modding community, because they allow so much for it, and people, they went crazy on it. That shit's crazy. They got like Minecraft zombies now. Dude, I just downloaded that. I'm gonna try that out. I don't know if I'm gonna stream it. I suck at zombies, but I do have fun doing it and stuff like that. And games that I don't think I'm good at, when I'm playing those, I don't stream at all, because I just don't want people to be subjected to this crappy gameplay. I'm just having fun. I don't care if I stream or not, but I just stream to have fun when I do enjoy it. If I'm half decent at it, I'll throw it. I'll play it, and my friends stop by or whatever and say hi, which I'm always grateful. And if you want to do that, you can do it on Twitch. If you got Twitch, if you got YouTube here, watch it on YouTube. I go live on YouTube, but on the weekdays, mostly it's at night. If I don't go to the gym or something, I'll go stream, or if I'm, not too tired or something, so I didn't have to clean or something, get prepped for the next day, if we're going out of town on Friday or something, because, it is what it is, it happens. So, but I guess that's going to wrap up most of this stupid ramble about that. It's not stupid, but I say it's stupid because I did a shit job at it, but, it is what it is. But I got to get back in there, stuff like that. I got to get ready for work and whatnot. So I'm sure Benji's probably done be preoccupied. I could hear him a little bit and whatnot. So thanks you guys for tuning in. I hope you guys, have a great day and rest of your week. And if I helped you think about like playing a computer as opposed to a console, if you were looking into it, if not, just ignore it. You probably won't even click on this. It is what it is. So I might not have helped you at all, but I'm sorry. Those are just some stupid experiences that I had. So, and I just ramble about stuff. So if you're new to this channel, you enjoy the content of some of these rambles, please hit that like and subscribe button. I do appreciate it. Hit comment down below if I helped you or not. In advance, I'm sorry if I didn't, but if you made it this far, you might have liked it, you might not have liked it. You might have been like, this guy's a dipshit. So, but if you're returning, I appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Peace.